All right, good to go, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today we're at Valley Forge, outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, about 20 miles away from Philadelphia. And that's one reason that it was strategic during the Revolutionary War. It was also a manufacturing center, and there are rail lines right over here, and there's water right over here as well. But it was also where the patriots, all right, where the colonists were able to train with our first international ally, the French. And if you remember, the Secret Commission was founded in April of 1776. People like Ben Franklin probably went over to France and worked out a deal for support against the British. And again, the British had just stomped the French in the 7 Years' War. And a lot of people argue, Professor Mark Stoller from University of Vermont, and who's also an advisor on history to the United States military, says that that massive war debt led to taxation of the colonists, increased taxation through Navigation Act, Townsend Act, Stamp Act, Tea Act, then the Intolerable Acts. And that led the colonists to progressively request access to their rights as Englishmen. And some people say that there's current dialogue in socio-political circles today. And so I thought it would be fun to bring you here to where the Commander-in-Chief's guards actually stayed. Valley Forge is a wonderful park where you can interact with many of the displays. You can actually go into George Washington, General Washington's headquarters, and where he slept right back here. And you can hike and bike, and it's a wonderful interactive park. They do a great job here, okay? So we're gonna talk about specifically the Commander-in-Chief's guards today. And again, because the National Park Service is doing such a good job, they've created interactive exhibits, right? Or they've preserved interactive exhibits for hands-on learning opportunities. And that's really fun, okay? What I want to call your attention to is some of the text right here, and then I'll associate it with some current events. And I'd like to hear what you have to say in the comments later, okay? So Commander-in-Chief's guards, an elite security force. Always present, Washington's guard occupied huts here. This special detachment was created to protect the Commander-in-Chief and his official family and his equipment and supplies and papers. Washington required that each lifeguard, as they called themselves, be a native-born American. Think about that, all right? If you protect the Commander-in-Chief, George Washington wanted you to be an American, you know, a native-born American, all right? It was assumed that such men would be loyal, and they have a vested interest in the success of the war. So today this tradition continues in the form of the 3rd United States Infantry, a very honorable unit, right? A unit that stands guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington. And, you know, this Marine will show all respect to the Army, but you know where I stand on inter and intra-military issues. Okay, good to go? And if you read further in the display, you can see that the banner of the guard is portrayed. And here's what I want to call your attention to. So you know I wasn't making it up. You can go ahead and read it right here. Maybe pause your screen, you know, and just take a look at it right there if you want to read it. But it's interesting that, and I'll read this again, Washington required that each lifeguard, as they called themselves, be a native-born American. And it was assumed such men would be loyal, as they had a vested interest in the success of the war. The only thing I point out is that the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security was born in Cuba, and the southern border is wide open in the United States, but we're not having babies and we need people to work jobs. I get it. But we have to do something because the Border Patrol is doing an amazing job of apprehending these folks, and then we're just letting them go at tremendous cost. In fact, when I was at Big Bend National Park just a few weeks ago, I was camping, and 4 illegals crossed through my campsite on the Rio Grande. So it's certainly something that impacts our national parks. It could impact you while you're visiting. And the Park Service does an excellent job. They do a really, really good job, especially here at Valley Forge. But I'm just calling attention to other realities in the United States. And you can just Google that. Where was Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, the unit that's in charge of not only CBP down at the border, but also in charge of CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency, which has censored Americans online in violation of their First Amendment rights, according to federal judge Terry Doughty. And the House Judiciary Committee, right? Congressman Jordan of Ohio talked about this in the House Judiciary Committee, which is interesting. But this is where the Commander-in-Chief's Guard stayed. This is how they built it out. And this is super cool. One of my favorite parks. Okay, this says the Commander-in-Chief's Guards. On March 11th, 1776, General Washington planted the seeds of a rich and illustrious military tradition. This military outfit, officially known as the Commander-in-Chief's Guards, had the honor and responsibility of protecting General Washington and his baggage, specifically selected for their patriotism and fidelity of duty. The Guards enjoyed the highest confidence and respect of General Washington, and most of them rendered long, honorable, and faithful service. So again, thank you to everybody who's helped make Valley Forge a reality here in Pennsylvania. It's a beautiful park where you can come out and recreate, you can hike and bike, and come with your family or by yourself. And they also have experiential learning exhibits where you can literally walk into the exhibits. You can literally walk into General Washington's headquarters, four finger points are over there. And so this is a great place to come. It's a wonderful place to learn. And I encourage you guys to come and visit Valley Forge sometime. And to learn and remember your American history. Have a great day.